Touche. You could use nasty or gnarly or burly interchangeably here. Yeah, good call. Yep. Thanks for reminding me there, X Factor. I forgot to actually click the button. So now we're live on YouTube, if anyone prefers over there. So yeah, all the commands that you want available in like the command palette, all the colors of various things, right? And then finally, we can get into like the actual like config properties. Yeah, no worries, X Factor. Sorry. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. So realistically, we need to scroll up a bit. Oh man. Here it is, finally. Whew. Where do I make more money? From just general views and ads? I don't know, right? Twitch makes me more money from like bits and subs, right? Just in general. But viewership on YouTube helps get me to like the higher level of partnership. I just hit like the base minimum level of partnership, but I still need like another 1,000 watch hours. So watching over there helps get me to that 1,000 watch hours. So if anyone wants to go over there and do that, feel free. Don't have to though. If you got the bandwidth, both would be pretty cool. But no stress if not. Maybe. I'm not sure if that counts. I don't know. Technically for Twitch, it needs to be the frontmost tab. And you can't mute the tab itself because they can actually detect that. But you can mute the browser at your like OS level. And yeah, so I think they can detect if they're the active tab. They can detect if the tab is muted. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it. No stress. It does. Yeah, it totally helps. I do not have the same display for Twitch and YouTube comments. Sorry there, Vasachar. Basically, yeah, Twitch has a rule that you can't really use the same, like, thing to show both. Whether they enforce that or not is up in the air. I think Harris Heller did a stream where he purposely did the aggregation just to stick it to him. I don't have Stream Parrot set up to do that. So that's a different thing. Technically, the way Primogen shows both chats on stream is actually not allowed by Twitch rules. But again, it's up to Twitch to actually enforce them. And they won't. Just the same way that Prime was multicasting to Twitch and YouTube before Twitch officially allowed it as well. No one was actually ever banned for it previously. So again, a rule is only as viable as the enforcement of it. And they don't enforce those rules. What do you mean by make the rule? Now, at the end of the day, he can do whatever he wants. It's up to Twitch to enforce it. And Twitch is pretty much just not enforcing it. Even though it's in their TOS and they could enforce it, they don't. That's a big difference, right? A rule is only as valuable as the enforcement behind it. All right, so here we need to add our custom rule. Right, it can be string or no. That's fine. No, JS Dinesh, they totally can. It's their platform. They can enforce whatever rules they want. So Seb, sure, right? I get that he said that. I actually remember the TwitchCon where he talked to the CEO, and the CEO was like, well, technically, you can do whatever you want. It's up to us to actually do something. Like, I remember that conversation with Prime. I've met Prime in person. But what you're saying right there, right, can be done in parallel, but they should not allow the YouTube live chat to be shared on Twitch. He does that, though. That's what I'm saying. He actually does that. So it doesn't matter what he said. He's going against what you interpreted it as. And he is technically breaking the rule. But again, the rule is only as viable as what someone says. He said he's the only one allowed. Yeah, I don't know about that. That sounds like bullshit to me. Again, Harris Heller also pushed back on the rule of not showing Twitch chat. He specifically did so as a protest, and he didn't have any repercussions either. So it's not that they're allowed, it's just that they're doing it. And until someone says they can't, they can't. The rules say they can't, but until there's a pushback, then the rule doesn't exist. Right? So again, when Theo first started streaming to Twitch, he was also streaming to YouTube. He has been multicasting the entire history of his Twitch channel as well. Nobody has ever been banned for doing it before it was explicitly allowed. If no one is enforcing that rule, then it's actually just not a rule. But it's something they can use against you if they want to ban you for other reasons. That's the thing. It's a safeguard for them. If they want to ban you anyway, they can find something to get you for it. Just like when we go drive our car on the road here in the US, we break all sorts of laws that we don't even know are laws. Right? Like the amount of time between lane changes. I think that's actually codified in law. Things like that. For the most part, we break a law every single time we go driving. What matters is if a cop wants to pull you over, they can get you. That's true. It is state by state. That's a good point. Yeah, I was meaning specifically here in Washington. But that's the thing, right? It's not just about like, oh, you broke a rule, you're automatically screwed. It's more if someone wants to get you for it, they can find something that you've done to break the rules. From what I remember, it's like 3 seconds between lane changes. But again, it's state to state. "200 feet before you change lanes." Okay, right? And again, like basically, the safe follow distance is codified as 3 seconds. So if you are closer than 3 seconds at whatever speed you're traveling, they can get you for that too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your follow distance behind someone should actually be like a count of 1, 2, 3, etc. But again, it only matters if someone wants to pull you over anyway. They're going to find something that you're doing wrong. Because we all break laws while driving our cars every day anyway. No. So, and it is... Maybe it's 2 car lengths in the EU, but it's actually based upon the speed at which you're traveling. Here in Washington, at least. If you're traveling at 70 miles an hour, the distance you're allowed to have between the car in front of you is actually greater than if you're traveling at 25 miles an hour. And if a cop wants to be a dick, they can definitely get you for that because nobody actually obeys that rule. Ooh, that's maybe a good rule of thumb. 1 car length for every 10 miles per hour. Right? And who follows behind someone at 6 car lengths? No one does that. That doesn't exist on freeways here in Washington. You're doing that at rush hour, someone will take that gap. And then you gotta back up more. And you're just gonna keep getting pushed back. So yeah, that's the biggest thing. A lot of rules are in place to be enforced if someone just doesn't like you. So yeah, maybe Prime is the special, unique, snowflake that is allowed to show YouTube chat on screen. I'm not sure I believe that. Maybe he talked to Dan Clancy, and Dan Clancy said it's okay. Dan Clancy is so far separated from the actual enforcement chain of command. He's not someone who bans someone. That's not his job. He's not going to waste his time doing that. He's not going to pass it down as a rule to all the other people that enforce those things that, hey, no, Prime's allowed. You think that's a policy at Twitch? No. Fuck no. Hell no. There's no way. No, that's fine, Sab. I'm just pointing this out. You can apply some logic to this. Dan Clancy has no actual involvement in the ban system. He's the CEO of Twitch. And yeah, I haven't seen his stream. He's a really cool dude. He's super chill. Or at least as far as I know. I don't know him personally, but in most interactions I've had other people telling me about, etc., he seems like a chill dude. But at the end of the day, yeah, just because he says you can do a thing, he is so far separated from the actual ban process that him saying you can do it doesn't matter. What he is basically saying is, yeah, no one's ever been hit by it, so you're good. And this goes back to TwitchCon 2 years ago, where Prime had a conversation with Dan at the partner mixer whatever thing, and said that he streams to both platforms, and Dan was like, more power to you. But just, remember it is against the rules, but I don't care. That's basically the gist of it. So yeah, no worries. I'm just trying to explain this. Maybe Prime says it that way so that he doesn't have people constantly saying how he can do it, right? It's just an easy way of shutting down that conversation. Hey, how come you're allowed to show YouTube chat? Because I'm special. Boom. Conversation done and he can move on. X Factor, technically your partner agreement has this in the contract. As a partner, there is a clause in there saying, at least back then, that you could not multicast. It's part of a contract that all partners sign. So it is part of a contract. It is contractually in there. Yeah, just like the YouTube thing, right? It's part of the affiliate and partner contract. If you're not an affiliate or a partner, you can do anything you want, multicasting or showing YouTube chat. It's only when you sign the contract for them to pay you money that they can dictate these things. It is in our contract, yes. But again, a contract is only as good as the enforcement of the contract. Just like non-compete clauses in Washington. They're pretty much bullshit. Companies will make you sign one, but they are so loosely enforceable that they pretty much don't get enforced. And in California, they're actually illegal. Like the red shirt, etc. Yeah, I get it. I also changed up the color correction because I needed to fix the white balance, or not the white balance, but the autofocus on my camera. I don't know if any of y'all noticed, but my background was like going in and out. I was still in focus because of like how I got my settings, but my background was going like fuzzy every once in a while as like the autofocus motor was like toggling. So I just turned off autofocus. And in doing so, I ended up disconnecting my camera and losing all my settings and having to reset. So then I ended up resetting my white balance and a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, I think it looks more realistic even too. The red of my cheeks is less pronounced. It's definitely warm. I can feel the whiskey working its way to my capillaries. Could be the vitamin, or the niacin, which is what? Vitamin like B2 or B6 or something like that? Maybe B1, I forget which one. Red-faced? Yeah, do you feel the heat in your cheeks? Yeah. Yeah, that's because, like, as far as our face is concerned, the blood vessels are actually closer to the surface than a lot of other parts of our body. And especially, like, the capillaries themselves. Not, like, veins and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I am used to drink, and I still get it. Like, facial flushing is a genetic thing. It's especially why there's a term called the Asian glow, because Asian people also have a genetic disposition towards, like, facial flushing because of the surface, like, capillary thing that I mentioned. Fair-skinned people typically have a similar problem. Alright, so, yeah, let's continue along. So we have the custom provider added to our config right there. And yeah, cheers. Hold on. Let me cheers the screen with you. Lemonade mix. It's a poor man's lemonade. Could you imagine how many lemons I would go through? That'd be crazy. I would definitely need a lemon tree. Lemon orchard. But, yep. Cheers. All right, so GitLens AI experimental open AI model. And then here, URL. I want to grab those. All right, so specifies the custom model to use for GitLens's experimental AI features. Yep. URL here. That's just a string. There you go. That sounds nice. And yeah, real quick, I missed some follows. Am I angry today? Why would you think I'm angry? Are you trying to make me angry? You won't like me when I'm angry. But yeah, so Elliot, I think I shouted out. Thank you for the follow. Again, Sab, thank you for those bits. And Marcos and Vox for Rocks, thank you for the follows. Welcome. Now, it's real easy to make me angry, so yeah, you'll see it eventually. No, I just turned more red. I'm like, I'm Red Hulk, not Green Hulk. No. I don't know if you know, there was actually multiple iterations of the Hulk. Red Hulk versus Green Hulk, right? So Red Hulk generates heat when he's angry. Right? Who is stronger? I don't know. There's also Gray Hulk. Yeah, Gray Hulk is actually some of the most valuable Hulk comics. Oh. God damn it. Come on, man. Yeah, so Gray Hulk comics are actually the most expensive ones. Right, so Gray Hulk is just one of his personalities. But yeah, Hulk basically has like some different iterations. And I forget the exact differences. Like, you know, about the characters themselves. But the comics of Gray Hulk are extremely expensive. Maybe just because, like, 1962, like, it's old, you know? So initially he would do it at night. Okay. Yeah, I don't know the actual, like, history of it. It was subconscious due to the fact that he was ashamed of the dark, not very nice thoughts that Gray Hulk represented, and would only let him out at night in the dark, where he would not be seen. Later, it was due to willpower or stress. I just went for a walk outside. But yeah, the Gray Hulk has the ability to drive a car. Whereas I think Savage Hulk is the green one, right? So yeah, he has more intelligence and reasoning than the Savage Hulk, right? And Savage Hulk is the Green Hulk. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, I think there's a couple other, like, color incarnations of Hulk as well, but I don't remember what they are. She-Hulk on Disney, Dogwater? I mean, I will say, Black Adam yesterday was better than I expected it to be. Especially because I'm not a big fan of The Rock. He's like human tapioca. Right? Seems interesting, but is actually just really bland. Tapioca are like the, you know, like the little, like the black balls in boba tea? Those are tapioca balls, right? And they seem really interesting, but they're actually just incredibly bland. They basically don't have a flavor. Yeah, feel free to use that human tapioca line. Well, I mean, I think it fits. If you're thinking about tapioca as in, like, I don't know, something other than the way I just described it, right? It looks interesting, but is actually really bland. That's literally what I mean. Looks more interesting than it actually is. Right, so, yeah, these settings. Ooh, in a wok with brown sugar, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I get that. I guess when I think of tapioca, I'm more thinking of, like, the type of pudding that they serve old people. Not even like the boba tapioca. I mean like tapioca pudding that they just serve to old people. But yeah, anyone, feel free, make that a tweet. The Rock is like human tapioca. Looks interesting, but is actually really bland. Boom, nailed it. And he would respond to you in the most bland way possible. Right? His response would be, you know, meh. Hey, what's up,
Thanks
FD?
for the support. Imagine FD_God92 as the almighty flame deity cloaked in ever-burning robes of blazing gold and crimson. Their superpower is the ability to control and manifest fire in any shape or form, from the tiniest spark to a cataclysmic inferno. Blessed with the spirit of an ancient fire god in 1992, during a mysterious cosmic event, they became a protector of the world against darkness. Flame deity soars through the skies, a fiery comet defending the innocent with their pyrokinetic prowess, and an unyielding will that burns brighter than the sun.
Then I'm quinoa. Looks bland, but is actually really good for you. Boom, I'll take it. But yeah, FD, if you want that audio clip, just send me a message on Discord and I'll download it and send it to you. That was a good one. That one was solid. That was probably the best one they've done for your name so far. Quinoa man? Sure. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Alright, so if we look at this, and then we go to settings, preferences. Here we go. Experimental model provider. Ooh, I might need to reload the window. Right, so when you modify the package JSON for a VS Code extension, you actually need to reload the window because that only happens when the extension is like launched, right? Because it would be super expensive for them to like reevaluate the package JSON that is 16,000 lines long, you know, on any like majorly regular basis. So I get that. That makes sense to me. So if we go and find the AI experimental stuff, ooh, AI experimental custom model, bam, nailed it. Provider, custom, nailed it. Custom URL, ooh, here we go. For HTTP, localhost 3000 slash something. And wait, what doesn't happen on Linux? Slash quinoa? No. Hold on. So, if we look at mock LLM server, we got the hello world. Let's just say we got a post request here. And this will be... I don't know, just VS Code or something? What's up? Is it Sout? Maybe Sowit? How do you want me to pronounce your name? Is it Soat? I don't know. I have no idea. I want to pronounce your name the way you want it pronounced, though, so just let me know. And then Azutsu. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. And yeah, dude, FD, 42 months. That is a long sub, man. Appreciate you. So yeah, I don't know what the response they're going to be looking for is. So if we see the explain commit, no, so Seb, the way to think about it is this is a promise, right? This.container.ai is a promise. And then after that, this await is for this entire thing. So they're awaiting this function. I would say a cleaner way of doing that would be const AI is equal to await this.container.ai. And then from here, that would just be AI. Right? And then does that make more sense? It's not that crazy. Does this actually add any value by splitting it out? Probably not. As long as you got to try around all of it, you're going to catch the error and you're good to go. Now, a debugger statement here is very interesting. I find that odd. But debugger here is only going to fire or do anything if DevTools are shown. Yeah, get out of here, spammer. Now this right here is way weirder to me. Why is the void necessary for this? That is super weird. So I'd like to know what the difference between this is. Is void a keyword for delete? I don't think it is. Void is a type. I'm actually curious about that. No. So, now, I'm... Right? That is so far outside the scope of what we're doing. In fact, what I've changed here, I'm going to undo. Because, right? Only change things in a PR that are relevant to the PR. I understand what void is in JS. I don't understand what it's doing right here. But it's not my code, so changing it would be actually a really, really bad thing to do because it's irrelevant to the PR I'm trying. If you were to mix in a change like this into a PR you sent me, my review would be it's not getting merged in until you undo the thing that's totally unrelated to what you're trying to do. You should not be mixing in random things that improve the code in a code base that isn't yours. That'd be a terrible PR. Yeah, maybe a separate PR, but why? Tell someone to make a separate PR? Even then, nah. I'm good. I don't think it adds value. I don't think it takes away from value. It's not your code base. Don't enforce your ideas of what clean code are on someone else's code base. That's a clear way to just not get your stuff merged in. Right? Like right here. We could just do that. That'll totally work. Or it should totally work. Oh, they have an ESLint that disallows the shorthand? Alright, well, never mind then. Again, don't impose your code cleanliness rules on someone else's code. Yep. Right? I'd prefer the shorthand. But at the end of the day, it's not my code base. Yeah, I don't know what void is doing in this context. Just as this nested await is just a code style issue. If it was my code base, then yes, I can impose code style. But it's not. Alright, so when we look at what we got here, we'll just say the URL is /VSCode. I don't think that's actually right. We could go see where this is used. Oh, but we can't see it specifically anyway. To ensure the page doesn't navigate away? I don't think so. I mean, we can go look it up. It doesn't matter though. Like, we don't need to care. It's one of those things where caring actually is harmful because it's totally separate from what we're trying to do. Oh. So that's interesting. By doing void function test, test doesn't exist. I'm not sure what value that actually has in the code we were seeing. Yeah, exactly, Lifen. Like, totally. Right? And then at that point, you're changing so much that isn't related to the original thing you were trying to do that, yeah, you'll never get that PR merged. Yeah, it is a weird operator to me. I don't understand why we would want to do that. Right? If we simply just didn't assign it, I don't think the result of this changes anyway. But oh, hold up, it does. Promises must be awaited. Oh, so it's to get around an ESLint issue. Oh. Huh. Yeah. When instead, you could just return, and then you're done, right? Everything's fine. Hunky-dory. Good to go. But then that means any caller to explain commit would see the result of this. And hold on, let's look at explain commit now. They think it is promise Boolean. Whereas if I do void, it is now promise void. So it's about like the return signature at this point. I can see that. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's new to me. Huh. So in this case, summary is a raw string. Ooh. And doing the exclamation point right there is interesting to me. Rather than guarding against it, they just say, hey, we know better. All right, so in this function, explain commit, that is part of our I see. Yeah. So it's part of like the overloads that are acceptable. So we can do a commit, which is then a revision reference or a commit. We could pass a repo path and a SHA. We could do a commit or a repo path. And then finally, the implementation here. So yeah, I rarely actually do... overloads in this way. Instead, I tend to reach for... like a function that calls another function. But then it has to be explicitly named differently. Whereas this is an overload for the same function. Huh. Okay. And then, yeah, provider.explain changes. That's part of the interface for this. Ooh, hold on. Why do they not like that? Oh. Do I mind explaining the term overload? So basically, let me try and find a good example, right? When we see explain commit, that's where they're saying like, hey, what we're calling has a repo path that is a string or URI, and then a SHA, and then options, but there's one overload as well. So now when we look at it this way, we can see the other overload, which is instead of the repo path, SHA, and options, we only pass a commit and options. So it means that we have the same function, but it has different arity. Function arity is the thing we're actually referencing when we talk about overloads. And arity is basically what arguments are you passing to it? How many of them are there? So it's how you could call explain commit with a repo path and the SHA for the commit you're looking for, or you could just pass the commit. The options are going to end up being the same, but the two things you're passing versus the one thing you're passing, your function is going to behave basically the same way with these two different types of like sets of arguments that you want to pass to it. Yeah, your ChatGPT or Google copy and pasted thing doesn't really help us that much. Because they could have copied and pasted the same thing. They could have Googled it themselves. What they're getting at is they've done that already and it still didn't make sense. And how do you distinguish which version you're passing? By the parameters you pass. In a typed language, you distinguish those things based upon the type of the thing. So maybe I want to pass the same amount of arguments, but one case I'm passing a string and another case I'm passing a number. At that point, I have overloaded the arguments that I accept. And I need to handle them specifically in some way that then makes it, work. And typically, you'll still do that in the same body of the function here. Whereas in some cases, you might define just totally separate functions that operate completely differently. There's something to that. Now, in many cases, JavaScript and TypeScript TypeScript specifically is going to complain about that. But then other languages allow you to define functions with the same name that just take different props. And you can define the internal things they do completely differently. In which case, you might have heard of operator overloading. Operator overloading is very similar to, hey, I have this thing and this thing I want to add together with a plus sign, but they're not defined by the language itself. So instead, I would overload what that operator does when I pass it these two types that I want to add together. I mean, life, and it's worth it to assume that someone's done the base minimum effort. And if they haven't, that's their problem. By doing the thing that you assumed they didn't do, you're actually talking down to them. And you're not going to get good results out of such a thing by talking down to people. Now, there's definitely an edge case to that. When someone comes in here and says, where do I go to find new jobs or whatever for remote work in whatever country I'm in? Did you even try Googling it? And in many times they haven't, because they wouldn't need us. So there's definitely some edge cases to these things. for the most part, and I'll agree with you, Lifen, what they could do is give us the context of, I've Googled it, but I still don't understand the definitions that Google gives me. By adding that context, we eliminate the ambiguity, and we can actually have a conversation. So I would say that there's a middle ground there where assuming things makes an ass out of you, or making an assumption makes an ass out of you and umption. So yeah, by assuming that someone's done the bare minimum effort, or hasn't, you're still actually, like, taking liberties. No, and it's not your fault, X Factor. I'm just saying, by adding that context, you definitely would have like, you know, you would have already made it to where, like, Lifen didn't need to go copy-paste that. Because they would have understood that you tried. So, right, no one here is wrong, but I'm just saying, there you go. Yeah, so Space Case, that's the official quote. The thing I just made was a quote from the movie The Long Kiss Goodnight, because Samuel L. Jackson says it, and nobody makes an ass out of Samuel L. Jackson. So that's why he didn't say me in that context. You assume I'm not going to shoot you. When you make an assumption, you make an ass out of you and umption. Because nobody makes, like, the implied context is nobody makes an ass out of Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, it's by the guy that wrote Lethal Weapon and The Last Boy Scout. The guy that played Hawkins in Predator. That's Shane Black. He directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He directed The Long Kiss Goodnight. He wrote Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and The Long Kiss Goodnight. He's one of the greatest screenwriters of the past, like, 40 years, in my opinion. Or 30 years. He's really good. In the movie As Good as It Gets, he's the restaurant owner that kicks Jack Nicholson out of the restaurant. Get out! That's Shane Black. I'm a huge fan. On the set of Predator, he was writing The Last Boy Scout. There's some other really good, like, Predator stuff going on there, too, that I'll happily share. Happily share. So, you've probably seen Predator, right? You know, like, oh, yeah, big buff dudes doing like, jock things in the woods, right? In the jungle. It turns out that, like, the biggest guys on the film, such as, right, Arnold and Jesse the Body Ventura, the guy that played the Indian guy, or not Indian, but Native American, and even Carl Weathers. They were all, like, secretly working out in the morning to be, like, bigger and more ripped than the other guys around them. One of the funniest things is they were fitting people for their costumes, right? Like, costume designers, etc., like, people doing, like, the outfits that they would wear in the film would have to, like, measure each other, right? They would have to, like, measure the actors and know, like, oh, yeah, their arms are such big that, like, they have to wear, like, this shirt or whatever other shirt, right? So they measured Jesse Ventura's biceps. And the costume person was like, oh, your arms are bigger than Arnold's. To which Jesse was like, oh, well, I'm going to bet him that I got bigger arms, right? And then he did it. He bet Arnold that he had bigger biceps. Turns out, Arnold had paid the costume person to tell that to Jesse Ventura because Arnold knew that Jesse was then going to bet him money about it. So Arnold made some money off of Jesse Ventura knowing that Jesse Ventura was that insecure. Arnold's a genius. He's brilliant. Arnold is brilliant. Yeah, like, he's really good. Dude, I love some of this movie trivia. Love it. Yeah, super genius. I've said it here on stream a bunch of times too. Oh, and Seb, I see your comment. Like, I have to pick music that is royalty-free. Because I'm streaming to YouTube right now, and music that I don't own or I'm not legally allowed to stream, I will actually get demonetized for. So I have to pick music that is allowed. It's part of why I'm pretty sure Prime doesn't stream music to YouTube. If you want to hear music from Prime's like streams, you have to go over here to Twitch. Who's bashing your favorite playlist? Wait, what do you mean by that? Sorry. No, no one's bashing it. They were just saying, like, it'd be nice to do, like, song requests or something. Yeah, it's why my music doesn't make it to my Twitch VODs as well, right? And you can do that pretty easily. But YouTube doesn't do that. So Twitch actually allows you to ship multiple audio streams, and your VODs don't get that audio stream, right? It's really kind of cool how Twitch does that, but YouTube doesn't do that. Ooh, what the function overloading compiles to in JavaScript? Well, I think my guess is that the entire function body gets copied. That would be my guess. Because the JavaScript doesn't have types. So, you know, if you're doing type-based overloading, then the types go away and it doesn't matter. But if you're doing, like, functionality things, I would bet money that it just copies over. Right? And remember, arity in this context is the amount of arguments. No, I do not want to bet money. No, and it's fine. Yeah. I'm not that confident. Let me put it that way. If I was confident in how it worked, I'd totally bet money on it. With no actual intent of collecting. But I do use the phrase, I would bet money, probably more often than I should. You never said how much money, and I never said how much money. I'd bet a nickel on it. How about that? Maybe $1. I'd buy that for $1. Nothing. We're just having fun. Sab's just making fun of the fact that I said I'd bet money. Right? That's all. It's not a big deal. We're not fighting! I'll fight you over the fact that we're not fighting! Yeah, there you go. But okay, so, yeah, we're still doing some discovery about, like, what URLs are going to be sent to, but the response, from what I can tell, is just a string, but I think I need to look at the other providers here. So if we look at OpenAI, we probably want to make sure that we're matching, like, OpenAI's stuff here, right? Ooh, here it is. Ooh. So it turns out that the URL is either whatever we pass for OpenAI, or the default that they're sending to OpenAI directly, right? Because you could have OpenAI hosted within Azure. So they're supporting Azure-hosted OpenAI models. But it's based upon like the URL that you're going to send it. So here we go. If we want to just simply make sure we're doing this right, we didn't provide an API key. Like, where do we see API documentation for OpenAI? Because we want to make sure that we're like obeying all that stuff, right? Audio only ad? I didn't know they did that. Huh. And yeah, Hervenius, let me just point out, like, I'm a terrible teacher. I am a terrible teacher. I'm not teaching you nothing. I'm just telling you what I think I understand, and I'm probably wrong in something. But yeah, Coding with Strangers. How you doing, man? Yep. And just so you can Google it later, it's Arity like that, without the I. I think. Shit, now I gotta double check. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I was doubting myself as I looked at it, so I had to double check. And it's actually a mathematical term. Like originally. Yeah, no worries, just in case. Wait, is it? It looks like it's just some company's like names. But I would have believed you. I totally would have believed you, like, out at the bar or something. That's true. I am pretty damn sassy. So I'll take that. I'll accept it. Checking with the judges? We'll allow it. A sassy quinoa beanie man. Oh, aridity. There you go. Yeah. Yep. Like arid is like the base that it comes from, right? And that's like the dryness, right? So aridity is, yeah. That makes way more sense. There you go, Lone Wolf. Close enough. Whoa, there's a lot of stuff you can send over. Okay, the only two things required, though, besides the auth part of things, right? Auth here would then be, yeah, your key is the bearer token. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, I've only seen bearer tokens for, like, official, like, JWTs or JOTs or whatever you want to call them. But it's not part of the spec. Like, yeah, you can do any bearer token you want. Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, fancy. All right, so as an example, it sends messages over in this body, and it's an array. A system message could be content role, whatever. A user message could be content role name. Okay. Content role name, and then tool calls function call. Function call is deprecated. A tool message would have tool call ID, okay. And then a function message, which is deprecated. So they used to call them functions, and now they're basically calling them tools. So all of the deprecated stuff is basically like, hey, you know, they're now tools, and then this would be an array of various tools that you'd want to do. So yeah, I haven't looked at the OpenAI API yet. I don't think we need full compatibility with it. But okay. All right, so URL here has to return a string. We're going to make it localhost 3000. And if we assume that we're matching their APIs here, we'll add the V1 chat completions thing to it. I'm going to say API key here is optional, and I'm not sure if we can actually let that be optional. Yep. Here's where we pass model and messages. This dot fetch API key here. So that fetch command needs to be updated. All right, Sab, I get you. We can play the droll song here in a bit. Let's get some progress here first. All right, so the is Azure thing. And what up, Shiloh? Man, and I hope this isn't offensive, but I know I've said this before, so I hope you're okay with it. Maybe it's why it's taken you so long to say hi again for a while. But man, I always think of that scene from Grandma's Boy, where they go out to the vegan restaurant. Hi, my name's Shiloh, and I'll be taking your order tonight. Right, and it's David Spade doing it. Oh, we've got a really good wheatgrass or something, right? So yeah, sorry. I know, I said this last time you said hi too, probably. My bad. I know. I'm just, yeah. Sorry to make you feel bad about it. It's your name, and I shouldn't make you feel weird. That's my bad. It's just immediately what pops into my head. I see David Spade in that restaurant. Like, bam, right? Mental image immediately. The food here is good, and it's good for you. You know, like, yeah, exactly. I love that movie. It's really good. All right, so our custom chat completion request looks pretty good to me. What all do we take in on that? That is model, messages. I don't even remember seeing those. Wait, really? Hold on, wait. Hold on, yeah. No, not Twitch, damn it. Twitter. Hold on. Notification. Bam. Right? Instant like. Also, if you book them. Yeah, see, they don't have the if you book them, they will come. But we can do the Field of Dreams. Hold on. Let's do the if you build it. Time for dinner? Yeah, no worries, X Factor. Yeah, we'll see you soon. I think this one works. Hold on, are you referencing the Wayne's World version? If you book them, they will come. Yeah, for sure. Right? But I need a good GIF for it. Perhaps it's under a different tag. Yeah, and it's just from Giphy. But yeah, do you have a good link to the Giphy of it? Is it Seattle.js Discord? Hold on, let me double check. I think it's Seattle.js Discord. So yeah, anyone here in Washington, Seattle type area, would you be willing to come hang out at a Gig Harbor, Washington meetup? That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Oh, and Harvenius, is that you? If so, thanks, man. If not, well, never mind. That's totally someone different. Whatever. You don't need to dox yourself. Totally someone different. Not even the same thing. And maybe it is totally someone different, which is fine. That's not you. Hint, it's you. Okay, yeah, I get it. I get it. That's fine. Oh, hey Seb, thank you for that one. Yeah, if you book them, they will come. It'd be nice if it had the text. Again, you don't got to do nothing. I appreciate you. That's a really good GIF anyway. Right? I can hear him saying it in my head by just seeing him say it. Which is awesome. I can hear that entire scene in my head just by seeing the GIF. If you book them, they will come. Come on, Dream Jim Morrison. Like, no one showed up. No one's RSVP'd. Like, what do I do, man? Hey, who's the old lady? That's my old lady. Like, yeah, dude, there's so many good quotable moments in that film. Yeah, the Wayne's World movies might be the best set of movies to come out of Saturday Night Live. Right? Like, started from a skit, became a movie, and still totally awesome. Anyone got any other films that spawned from Saturday Night Live that they would think are better? Right? Like, specifically started as a skit on SNL, right? Because I would say Dirty Work is better than both. I prefer Dirty Work over Wayne's World. That's a hill I'll die on. But Dirty Work didn't start on SNL. The Ladies' Man is pretty good. Yeah, Wayne's World was actually a skit on SNL that they would do as like a recurring thing that then became a movie. I'm pretty sure. Almost positive. It might only be like 1 or 2 skits. But yeah, it became a movie because of those skits. The Ladies' Man is another one. Ladies' Man started as a skit on SNL that then became a film. So yeah, using that criteria, there's only a few. Instead of like SNL alumni that went on to make films. That's a totally separate thing. How fun would it be to see a Celebrity Jeopardy film? I think the time has passed, but holy shit, that'd be good. That'd be real good. Right? If they'd made it 20 years ago, it'd be amazing. I guess Anchorman is really close, huh? Like, maybe not to, like, the Celebrity Jeopardy thing, but, like, really close to, like, the Weekend Report or whatever. Blues Brothers. There we go. Blues Brothers is a film that started as a skit on SNL and got made into a film. So yeah, Blues Brothers. It's basically Blues Brothers, Ladies Man, Wayne's World. Can we think of any other films that started as skits on SNL? But yeah, Blues Brothers absolutely was a skit on SNL before it became a film. Yeah, I'm struggling to think of any more. But I know there's at least one or two more, bro. Will Ferrell's career started on SNL? Absolutely. For sure. Yep. This is probably something we could Google, but that's less fun, right? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Will Ferrell just for, like, College Humor wouldn't exist as a company without Will Ferrell, basically, right? When he did that, like, baby thing, right? Like his baby as the landlord. We could agree to disagree on Matt Rife. He's definitely got some, like, jokes that work. But as, like, an entire, like, set? No, there's not a single Matt Rife set that is actually good. And I'm like, overly critical. There's actually only a couple Bill Hicks sets that are good from start to finish. There you go. If you want to judge Matt Rife based on his crowd work, sure. Technically, though, that's not good stand-up, in my opinion. And here's a big thing. There's a lot of people that have conspiracy theories about, like, a bunch of the crowd work he does. Some of those people are plants. There is definitely some conspiracy theories about how much of that crowd work is actually, like, premeditated. Yeah, right? Again, I don't know. And he seems like a nice enough dude. So, like, yeah, I'm not trying to have some beef with Matt Rife, but it would totally elevate my career. But again, like, yeah, there's definitely a conspiracy theory about Matt Rife and, like, some of that stuff being organic or not. Yeah. I don't care if it's organic or not, personally. But there are people that would think it is that are being misled. And I think that's a little interesting, too. Yeah, for the most part, more power to him. I hope he's successful. He already is successful, so he's killing it. But I don't enjoy any of his stand-ups so far. I get maybe like 5 to 10 minutes into it, and I'm good. Starts out pretty good, and then it really falls off. Yeah, right, Jimmy Carr and his hecklers could totally be plants, man. Which is fine, it makes for a better show for everyone involved. Right? I'm not saying that the plants thing is specifically bad. But to assume that it's genuine is a little rough. Right? It makes the show better. It's fun. It feels organic while you're there in the audience. Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer in Night at the Roxbury? Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen that before, Ethan. Yeah, and you're talking specifically about Matt Rife's stand-up is kind of like meh, but his crowd work, even if planned or not, is good? Yeah, I'll agree with that, for sure. That's a good way of phrasing that, for sure. There's this other comedian who's like, you know, it's not like, oh, I discovered this one dude. What's his name? I'm gonna space on it. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Shit. I haven't seen any of his stuff get recommended by Reddit for me for a while. Fluffy's good. Yeah, he's great. But damn, there's this other comedian who is really good at the crowd work stuff where it definitely feels like very organic. Like, you know. But I'm spacing on his name now. Stand-up, comic, crowd work. That's him right there. Jeff R. Curry. Dude, Jeff R. Curry is really good. I'd love to see him in concert. He's really like viral and organic and like just, man, like his shows get sold out super quick. But he has like really, really good bits. So yeah, Jeff R. Curry. He has like a whole like subreddit that has just amazing like clips of it. Yeah, this dude, right? He's got like the millennial haircut, so I don't know. But his subreddit has some really good clips of it. Nope, come on. There we go. Yeah, I want to see him at Comedy Cellar or wherever, right? Like, but he sells out shows way in advance. Just because he's doing basically the Dane Cook thing, where he's building an audience outside of just his shows. That's why Dane Cook blew up, if you don't know that. He was like the first comedian to really like utilize Twitter and engage with his audience as a real human being. And that's the entire reason Dane Cook got as big as he did. It's really cool, actually. Carlos Vallarta. Ooh, yeah, I don't know who that is. But yeah, Jeff R. Curry has some really, really fun, like, crowd work stuff. And, like, other jokes and clips of his are actually really fun, too. So, yeah, I think he'd be really fun to see in concert. Or in, like, you know, live. I went to, what was it, Gotham, NYC, or something like that, with Janhua. I was trying to remember his stream name, not his official name. Did we hear the Chris song today? No, we didn't yet. We could, though. But yeah, I had never been to a comedy show before. Like a live comedy show. Ever. Until I went to React NYC, or React Summit NYC last year during November or whatever it was. Right? And going there with Janhua was awesome. Like, it was super good. We got lucky that there were some, like, obvious people to make fun of in front of us. So, like, yeah, like, we didn't get singled out by, like, the one comic that was, like, the talk shit on the comics kind of comic, or talk shit on the audience kind of comic. So that was good. We were incognito. We were behind these two people that were way taller than us. And that was awesome. But also, we, like, showed up late. We didn't buy tickets ahead of time or anything. And the dude at the door was just like, yeah, I can work you in. You okay with, like, a, you know, like, first row or whatever? And we're like, fuck it, whatever. And it was awesome. It was a really good show. It was a really good show. It was awesome. Had a blast. I'd never seen stand-up comedy in person before, and that was awesome. Like, yeah. As a person who used to watch Comedy Central when I woke up and then went to sleep, yeah, it was great. It was super good. And this is back in the day, of course, right? Nowadays, I don't watch Comedy Central because who has time for that, right? When you stream 12 hours a day between two channels, yeah, you're probably not going to do that. But okay, hold on. Let's pause the music. Let's pause the music real quick.
In the land of Twitch, there's a legend they tell about a streamer named Chris with a beanie as well. He's a master of code, always typing away, with a smile on his face every single day. He's got viewers galore from near and from far, with his soothing voice and his trusty guitar.
Let's all cry together.
Code, never missing a beat, and the chat keeps on rolling with every Twitch and tweet. Oh, Chris Griffin, you're a streaming star.
No, hold on. Yeah, sorry, let me post the link. Sorry, Four Wheel.
Keep on going strong. In the world of Twitch, you truly belong.
I know, it's super good, yeah. Suno.ai. If you come up with your own CM Griffin songs, right? Maybe with a different genre, different like prompt, etc. I'd love to hear them. That'd be great. Post them over to the Discord or here in chat. But yeah, that was a blast. That's super fun. Yeah, that stuff was a blast. That was all AI. Absolutely. That's purely AI. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Skydriver. Thanks, Sad. Well, that was like more like Americana or whatever, right? I guess, is that Midwestern emo? Americana, Midwestern emo? Corporate wants you to tell the difference between these two genres. They're the same thing. America. Exactly. Duh. Oh, it has genres it's much better at. Ah, gotcha. When you say Midwestern emo, like, is that like Dashboard Confessional? Which I really want to hear right now, actually. There's that one Dashboard Confessional song. Shit. I'm gonna have to listen to it later. Shit. Oop, nope, not that. Here we go. Yes, there's certain genres it's good at. I've heard it's really good at doing, like, hip-hop, too. Whereas, like, metal, it might not be that good. I don't know. I haven't tried. It's so good. It's pretty damn good, yeah. I like it, yeah. Thank you, Ethan. That is golden. How many tries did it take you? I think I forgot how many. Sounds like the intro to a TV show. Oh, you're right. Yeah, that was the first time you nailed it first try? Ooh, Mr. Sir. Mr. Sir. Good job. You never even mentioned the Twitter bit, and it saw the tweet. Huh. Do I tweet that much? I guess I kind of do, huh? Wait, why won't that save? My keyboard switch? Oh, it didn't like the extra space? Oh. Huh. Alright. Oh, and I'm sorry. Yeah. No, and I got you. No, sorry, SkyDriver. You asked your question, I read it, and then I just forgot. Yeah. Someone made a song on Pi? Sure? Yeah, we'll check it out here in a second. Oh, that's like a hip-hop song, huh? But it's just Pi. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, we'll check it out here in a second. Okay. You're learning C# now. You'd like to ask my opinion on learning a second language after C#. You're learning it for game dev, and you're doing it with Unity, because that's the C# game language, right? Here's the thing, like, what do you want to do? Are you doing this to aim to, like, get a career? Like a job? Right? And I'm guessing, yes, like, you mean, like, yeah, you want to get a job coding. You don't need to disclose where you are, country-wise, but instead, you should go and search based on that. Because as a junior, it's really hard to get a remote first role. It's possible, but it's really hard. So instead, you need to look at who's hiring in your area. Okay, Germany. So it's no secret, right? I would still say look at jobs near where you are in Germany and see what they're looking for. And that will dictate what you should probably learn. Right? Because no matter what, you just need to get your foot in the door. You need to get your first dev job. Now, your first dev job will determine the types of jobs you can get after more easily. So still, like, use, like, even if Java is the most popular, but it's not the type of work you want to do, if JavaScript and web dev is second, and that's something you do want to do, I'd say going for that would be worthwhile. But again, like, you need to, like, really just dig into searching for jobs in your area and see what keywords you're seeing the most. Yeah, I would say even as a junior, fully remote isn't good for you either. It's the end goal, obviously, because it's the best. It's just the best. Working from home, waking up, doing whatever you want, you know? Getting to poop on your own toilet. I know that's a little grosser of it, but man, like, yeah. Working from home is the best. But to do it as your first job, that's a tougher sell. It's really hard to convince a company to let you do that. So instead, you need to figure out what companies are near you, or within commuting distance at least, that are doable. So then really it's up to you to start searching for what languages are actually, like, needed. And I can't determine that. I don't know where you live, and I don't want to dox any of that. You said Germany, so that's easy. But still, like, in Germany, based on where you live and what is commutable, that will determine some things. Ooh, is Zing or Xing or whatever it's called? Is that like a popular job platform in Germany? I'm not sure I've seen that one. I would also check Indeed. But maybe that's not big in Germany, so I don't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So your first dev job was from home. I think that part was missing or whatever. But you would have advanced more just being around people that you could absorb from and understand their workflows. And right, that face-to-face is so much easier to maintain a job in a lot of cases too. So yeah, right? It might be possible to get a remote job as your first like dev job, but you are better off finding a job in the office to understand things, to get face-to-face time with people so that you're not the first person cut when budget cuts happen, right? Things like that. And then once you're like, mid-level to senior level, working from home and then working for remote companies in different countries even, like that gets opened up way more once you understand like the dev process in general. What working in a Scrum or Agile environment is actually like. Things like that. No one wants to teach you that as a junior, like remotely especially. So there's just something to that, right? We all want remote jobs. They're the best. But for your first job, you should probably be aiming at going into the office. You're going to have better results. Because everybody wants a remote job. Nobody wants to go into the office. By being willing to go into the office, you're actually putting yourself onto like the short list. And getting yourself onto that short list is important. It's why I recommend a college degree or a university degree. Because having a degree lets HR put you onto their short list rather than their full list. Right? The full list could easily be thousands of people. Their short list, much smaller. And getting onto the short list is important. They do? Yeah, they have an office, for sure. I don't know if they're hiring. We can go look. Oh, not .dev. Hold on. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, man, so if you're in Spain, we actually have a Spain team as well. No, Amuga. I'm going to delete that because I feel like you're saying that just to be harsh. There are plenty of amazing developers in the world that don't have degrees. I'm going to say that right now. There are amazing developers in the world that just don't have degrees. I know, I get it, Amuga, but that was overly harsh. And also, like, borderline cancelable. No, I get it. I appreciate you. So yeah, as far as software engineers, yes, it does look like if you are a senior front-end kind of person, there is a remote role for you. As far as software engineer in general, if you're in Spain, they'd really like to talk to you. As far as other things, Yeah, they've got like Scottsdale as like demand generation marketer. Some of those things, sure, right? Software engineer, like, yeah. So it seems like a lot of the software engineering stuff they're looking for is like the remote part. If you've got experience in some of these other things, which really, like, you're probably not part of my audience if you're one of these, sure. But I'd still say, like, if you're a senior, there's probably a role for you. But it's like front end focused. Honestly, I could have applied to that one too. I get you, Cabre. Dude, I mean, Cabre, let me just point out, some of the knowledge you have about open telemetry and a lot of that other stuff, like, dude, you're mid-level to senior already. Maybe not front end, but holy shit, man. Like, you're saying you're at your first job still? That's amazing, man. Like, yeah, you got some chops for your first role. That's huge, dude. It's awesome. I wouldn't have guessed any of that. I would not have guessed that you're at your first role still and you probably consider yourself like junior to mid. From your input of things you've said here on stream, I would have assumed senior for sure. So keep that in mind. Started at a coding boot camp 3 years ago. Yeah, so 3 years of experience, you're already at mid-level to senior after 3 years of, like, really putting in the work. So, yeah, I'd say you're, like, way on there. I don't typically do, like, CV critique. I don't enjoy that part, and I'm not good at it. I'm not a hiring manager or any of that stuff. Oh, you did Code Fellows. Ooh, okay. I knew a bunch of people that did Code Fellows. Yeah, that's legit, man. That's super cool. Wait, did you ever go to any of the meetups or anything? Did you possibly, like, go to, like, Seattle Node.js back in the day? Oh, you said 3 years ago, so definitely not. Never mind. 3 years ago was pandemic time. So, yeah, no, there were no meetups going. Yeah, COVID. Yep. Skydriver, you absolutely need to know how to use Git, for sure. 1000%. The most trafficked videos on GitKraken's YouTube account are actually, like, teaching Git, like, basic type stuff, right? And they're, like, low effort, like, whiteboarding type things that just, like, they still get views because they're incredibly useful still. So maybe check those out. Maybe check other ones out, too. But Git is a pretty much non-negotiable. Like, you need that skill. Even if it's just the bare minimum of git pull, git push, git commit, git status, git diff, and then, I don't know, some of that BS. Sure. But even then, like, knowing that already sets you up for success. And yeah, no worries, Skydriver. Yeah, I think these are great conversations. I really appreciate, like, having these conversations. But I do want to say, like, as far as CV review goes, I'm not the best person to look at that. Like, I have had to look at people's resumes, or CVs or whatever, right? Curriculum vitae is what they call it, right? For the most part, I don't care where you've worked or what you've done. I will look at it when I'm interviewing people because I feel like I have to. But at the end of the day, if you're interviewing for a specific role, the questions I'm going to ask you are not relevant to your resume, right? I will let you pick, right? When I was interviewing people for basically my job when I was a contractor at Symmetra, because, you know, I was a contractor and I was interviewing people to take over for me because, yeah, for sure, I was giving them the fair shake. They didn't tell me I was interviewing people for the job I was doing or any of that. But I was, because I was a contractor through Fresh Consulting, and they needed to hire someone internally. I conducted those interviews knowing that they were trying to like fill the role that I had because they couldn't afford to pay fresh consulting still. When I did those interviews, I wasn't like harsher than I should have been. I said, hey, okay, to probably more people than I should have. But at the end of the day, I'm going to interview you based upon what the role is expecting, more so than what your resume says. And at that point, like, yeah, the hiring agency we were using fucking sucked. Dude, the people that were interviewing for the role I had were not capable of leading a project. Like, especially an Angular project. And that's a bummer. Even one person that we ended up hiring, they ended up being shifted to the back end because they were a great engineer. But they had no idea what an interceptor was. That's kind of a red flag. I understand that most people don't deal with interceptors on a team because the senior or the person that bootstrapped the project is the only person that ever touches it. No, so Nearland, you're misunderstanding. Even if it's Angular, even if it's React, even if it's Vue or Svelte or whatever, if you don't understand what an interceptor is, I am really questioning how many actual applications you've built from the bottom up. What is an interceptor? An interceptor is a thing that ties into your HTTP request logic that does something globally rather than based upon an individual request. When I've asked people, right, I wouldn't say interceptor from the start. I'd say, how would you handle a 401 request and logging the user out and making them re-log in if their token is invalid? And I've had too many people in the interview process say, well, I'd just do it wherever I was making that call. And then my follow-up question was, well, if I'm making these calls in a dozen different places on different routes, etc., you do that in a dozen different places? Yeah. Instant red flag. Instant red flag. Yeah, that's clown shoes, for sure. Angular has their own HTTP client that wiring interceptors up to is really easy. Right? Interceptors are a part of, and I'm sorry, they're Santiago, English only, please. Thank you, Ethan. But yeah, English only, please. Just so that everyone's on the same page. I do speak a little bit of Spanish. But yeah, some of that I'm less familiar with. But anyway, what I'm getting at is Angular has the HTTP client that they ship with it that has interceptors. Right? Those interceptors you define in one place, and it applies globally to your application. In the same way, people that say, why would you ever use Axios? Because I get interceptors. That's it. Well, how do you want to do interceptors with fetch? That means you got to write your own wrapper for it. If you want to write your own wrapper for fetch, it's going to be bug prone until you work out the kinks over X amount of iterations. That's why Axios exists and why interceptors for Axios are so important, because you can wire that up to a React application and log the user out, clearing the local storage, and redirecting them to your login page in one place if you get a 401 request, or 401 response, sorry. People that have never done that and have no idea why that would be useful, that's a huge red flag for a senior front-end position. I'm not saying you fail the entire interview if you don't know it, because typically only one person deals with that on a team, and then they never have to touch it again. That's a thing, right? So you could totally be senior and you've never done that, but you've worked on an application that had it and someone did it. Someone had to do it. But you didn't have to deal with that anymore. You never had to understand where a 401 request had to be parsed because your interceptor was doing that already, because the initial senior that bootstrapped the project set that up for you already. It's a fundamentally important part of your application. And there's someone that I hugely respect on Twitter, Nullvox Populi. Really great engineer. I've actually been a fan of the stuff they've done for years, since I was an Ember developer, who still didn't understand the use case of an interceptor, which blew my fucking mind. Because again, you might be senior, and you've never had to do that part of your application. You're not gonna fail an interview from me because you don't know that, but it is a heuristic. If you fail a couple other really fundamentals, like senior needed knowledge things, then we got a problem. We totally hired someone who was an Angular engineer that had never touched interceptors before. We totally hired them, but they ended up working on our back end, not the front end. I gave them the thumbs up because they answered all my other questions totally fine. But it's one of those things where like interceptors are fundamentally important because they handle your HTTP request logic in one centralized place. It is fundamentally important to writing a maintainable application. And it really does blow my mind still to this day that there are people I look up to on Twitter that have never had to write their own interceptors. That's weird to me, man. That's actually really weird to me. Because they've been devs longer than I have. I was looking up to them when I was a junior. And they've still never done that part? Huh. But yeah, it's big company, single code base things. One person deals with this. And then it's done. You don't need to touch it again. The interceptor is really one person's responsibility at the start of a project, and then it's out of sight, out of mind. I have been that person to do that more times than I can count. Because I am typically the person greenfielding the app, building it up, setting the best practices, doing all that stuff. That is actually like my bread and butter. That's how I've made my whole career so far. I'm not going to expect that everyone has done that, but if you've never done it, that's so weird to me. As a senior, I'm not saying you fail the interview immediately, but wow. Because I'm the person that's always had to do it, I kind of assume that someone would have that experience, but they won't. Interceptors are also where you end up attaching your token, right? If you're storing your JWT in local storage, your interceptor for the request out to things, out to your API, is where you attach your headers, right? So that's another place. But at the bare minimum, how do you handle a 401? That's my first start. As far as making a request out to your API, well, yeah, that's where you actually attach your headers to, the interceptor. So again, I just really start to question a senior that's never dealt with interceptors. For the front end specifically. Exactly. Like, again, Box Dirty, we totally hired an engineer that hadn't done that. They were really good. They answered every other question I had perfectly because we were looking for an Angular person, right? They answered the questions about, like, what are some common operators you've used with RxJS? They nailed that part. They nailed some other parts. So I knew that they weren't bullshitting me. They just weren't the person that bootstrapped the project they worked on. Right? So yeah, like really interesting stuff to me. There's like three main roles in software engineering in my opinion. There's the person that starts projects, which I think is really like the main role I solve. There's the person that maintains projects, or technically, let me put it this way, there's like a different order. There's the person that starts the project, there's the person that gets it over the finish line to launch it, and then there's the person that maintains it. And you could be really good at what you do, solving any one of those 3 roles, but typically you're not the same person for all of those roles. I don't think I'm a great finisher. I don't think I'm the person that can actually get it over the finish line, because my experience is getting it started from the beginning. I actually have all of this context about like how we started it and all that, but how do we get it over the finish line to ship it to users? That does require a different skill set. It requires cutting through the bullshit and understanding what we need versus what we could do. So yeah, I will say, like, even as much experience as I have on the front end, I am a starter. I'm not the finisher. And even then, beyond the starter and the finisher, there's the maintainer. I think I can do the maintainer thing pretty well, but I'm not great at the finisher part. Yeah, so that maintaining aspect, that's also a problem that like the greenfielder has too, because they just want to keep improving it versus understanding what needs to be done to get it shipped. And typically you need that closer to come in and tell you like, hey man, we don't need that shit. Let's just get this shipped. So yeah, I will say like, typically on any project, I need someone else to come in and be the closer. They are separate skills, they are separate like things, you know? I am the starter. And even in like baseball, you have the idea of the starter and the closer, or the starter and the relief pitcher and the closer. Those are totally like separate roles, and you don't expect one pitcher to do all of it. Sometimes they do, but it's rare. And yeah, maintaining isn't boring. It's a totally separate, like, set of skills. Right? Typically, as a maintainer, you have to jump into a thing that you didn't build, and you have to build out the mental model for it in a way that is fundamentally different from the person that built it from the ground up. When I am greenfielding an application, it starts from just a very small thing, and then it starts expanding. But as it expands, my mental model expands too. Whereas instead, as a maintainer or a closer, you're jumping into this thing where you have to find a point that you break into it and expand your knowledge from that point. Rather than from the start, you're jumping in at the part that you care about. And yeah, sorry, Box Turdy, I have to pee so bad. Give me a second. I'm gonna go use the restroom, and then I really want to read what you're saying there, because I'm willing to bet it's really good. Sorry, I gotta pee. Alright, sorry, I had to go pee. That's my bad. Yeah, so starters, closers, and maintainers. And alright, let me read some comments. So, you had this issue recently at work, you're greenfielding a project, and recently someone with a good amount of experience came in, with the team kind of needed, because or which the team kind of needed, because most of you were juniors mid, but he always wanted to keep fixing bugs and maintaining, and you spend a lot of time arguing with him that there's no point in fixing something that is highly likely to have to be removed or reworked completely anyway. Okay. He was a good guy, but not a good fit, right? Sure. Yeah, I can get that. And then Nearland, starters and maintainers are typically not the types that get you to senior or staff. It's usually the finishers. But part of that is how messed up some companies' HR is. So I can get that. There's definitely something to that. I consider myself senior. But I know that I am a starter. I think a big thing about that is that staff engineers end up needing to build out projects that make other people more productive. So there's definitely some of that too. There you go. So yeah, right? The staff engineers tend to be more than just one. And I think I can actually be pretty good at maintainer and starter, but I'm not necessarily a great closer. We can see that with Vexilla. It's taken me so long to fully launch Vexilla, right? If I had a good closer, we would have launched ages ago. Right? Version 1.0 would already be shipped. I can agree with that. Yeah, right? And then once you get to the level of like VP of engineering, you might actually be all three, or you're just good at managing people. No, and I get that, Harvenius. I did that, like, some of those languages were done for content, just because I find it's more entertaining content than launching an app is. Making a new language thing is more fun content here on stream. So that's part of it too. I'm making decisions based upon what I find entertaining more so than what is actually valuable. Exactly. I think it was fantastic content. But that means it's less valuable towards other stuff. Ooh, and real quick, hold on. Seb, was Celebrity Jeopardy a film? Something someone considered that just didn't launch? That's crazy. Oh, and Quinoa Man? Okay, let me copy this link. We'll listen to it real quick. No, Harvenius, like, no, I'm still just a bad closer. You can yell at me all you want. That's not going to make me close, like, quicker. All right, here we go.
Chris is the queen of them, making sense of everyone's life he can. With his bourbon in hand, he's always cool, coding through the night, breaking all the rules. Mr. Sir, that's what they call.
Holy shit, all right, this is good. My eyes are watering already. It is beautiful.
Bringing clarity to every thought, no less.
Yeah, my eyes are totally watering about it. Holy shit. Dude, this is super good.
You make the world a better place. It's true. Queen of man, we're grateful for you.
This is good. Thank you. Yeah, this is Suno. Yep. up, Jim Bob? Ooh, Jim Bob instead of Bob, right? Bob. It's like the Jersey pronunciation, right? Maybe it's Baub instead? I don't know. Dude, that was good. Thank you, Sab. Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, totally. Eyes watered. We're gonna do it one more time. Just like, you know, let it cement.
Chris is the queen of men.
Add it to the album. Damn right.
Everyone's life he can. With his bourbon in hand,
The bourbon in hand part is amazing.
coding through the night, breaking all the
First try? Really? It got the bourbon? Like, first try? Alright, I'd love to know what your prompt was.
with his beanie on tight, he's never grim. Blue awesome icy
There you go, Jim. Used to be an ambassador. I gotcha. I mean, we're trying to revamp the ambassador program. You're more than welcome to reapply.
oh,
Part of, like, what they're expecting of me is to, like, you know, connect with the ambassadors more. I definitely haven't done enough of that, but yeah, man.
you make the world a better place. It's true.
Dude, hell yeah.
We're grateful for you.
I think it's less about the, like, how many pro users have you given us today, and it's more about, like, are you just making content? Right? If you just make some content, you're good to go. Right? Our main ambassador is, oh, I'm going to forget his name, Kevin. Keto Kibo, or Kibu, is his name here on Twitch. He's like, yeah, he's our #1 ambassador. He makes content that's clippable, you know? If you want to do that, you're more than welcome to reapply. For sure, man. I think it'd be great. Just make content. If you don't want to, that's fine too. I don't have any say on who gets inducted and who doesn't and any of that BS, but yeah, it's my first month with the company, and they are expecting that I will be like the main touch point for ambassadors, etc. So the main goal is just make some content. No, and I get that. Like, I think the big thing would be, like, again, I don't want to disclose, I keep saying again, like, I didn't say it the first time, so my bad. I use again, like, as a filler word, so my bad. What I'm getting at is, I don't know David. My guess is David was someone before us who ended up going to another company. No, yeah, I get it. But yeah, I don't think David is with us anymore. And also, like, the ambassador program was stagnant for a long time, and they're trying to revive it, right? And Kevin, right, Keto Kibo, is one of the biggest, like, people who has really, like, kept it alive. Like, yeah, he's awesome. But I think the biggest thing is, like, I don't care about who you're driving to it. Are you making content that we could clip? That'd be huge. Right? Content that we could actually just share out to social media, to, you know, to our YouTube channel, etc. That's huge. I don't care if you're driving sales. Are you giving us content we can use? That would be the most important thing. I think that's really the focus we're going towards. So if you're really, like, wanting to get back into it and you want to make content, streaming, YouTube, whatever, that'd be huge. And then there's also the Champions program, which you might consider instead. If you're at a company where you're trying to get people to use GitKraken or GitLens or whatever at your company, that's the Champions program instead. So you might consider that versus ambassador, just depending on what you want to focus on. I'm throwing that out there. You don't have to do anything, but just letting you know. That'd be huge. And that goes for everyone else out there too. If you think GitKraken is useful, or GitLens, or any of the other things we make, and you're at a place at a company where you could like be a voice towards like your company, the Champions program is something to apply to. And instead, if you're a content creator of some kind, the Ambassador program is for you. And the biggest way to like show your value is just to make content. Let our main like social person know, Allison or whatever. She will happily clip stuff from your stream or whatever that is then like useful and valuable towards, you know, our end goals, which is to get people to sign up for Pro. But that's not your job. Your job is just to like make content or be a voice to your organization, right? And those two things are either ambassador for content or organization-wise like champion stuff. And none of this is secret at all. Let me get more music playing. And if it's not something you want to do or you're burned on the process, I get that too. That's fine. The socks, they were super comfy socks. I don't even know. I don't even have a pair of those socks. Those socks are like really like niche. You're actually super lucky. You got like limited edition socks. I don't even have a pair of those socks. Here's the thing, Bob. If you get it to your own team, that is still valuable. That is still hugely valuable because it gives us a little bit of like an in to that organization. And not just you, but like everyone on your team that sees a benefit, they will chat with other devs at the company. And like it has this like really like, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, right? Like, you know, like the meme from Wayne's World. So I will say, like, honestly, trying to get it into your company in any way might be a thing. I don't know how the Champions program works. I just know that's the basic gist. Space Case, if you're out there. You don't know how to clip the watering eyes? You need that short in your life? I mean, you've got a sub, so you can probably go grab the VOD and then just like clip that as you need to. But I think you like you missed your window to actually like clip it organically. Spent time with your partner making songs about your life? Hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, sorry, Seb. I don't know either. I'm typically not the person that makes clips. People make clips of me, not the other way around. Okay, yeah, I get it, Sab. Thank you for that prompt. It's an indie electro soft song about Chris Griffin, the Quinoa Man, Mr. Sir, Smart, Bourbon, Beanie Boy, Blue, awesome eyes, coding and making sense of everyone's life. Right, but like phrased a little different. I'll take it. Thank you. Oh, you might not be able to get the VOD until stream ends. Ooh, that's a good point. But yeah, no worries, Jim Bob. Yeah, no worries. I'm glad you enjoy the product. Are there any like features or anything that you want to give some feedback about or any of that stuff? Have you looked at it recently? Like, have you tried Focus View or, right, like workspaces or some of that other stuff? Like, have you checked out the CLI tool? Like, any of that? I think that'd be useful, man. And no worries if not. Technically, talking about this stuff is part of my job. Working on GitLens like we're doing here on stream is not part of my job, and they'd actually be upset if I was wasting like job time doing so. Because part of the hiring process was like, yeah, hold up, you're not gonna be writing code. Well, this is my time, and I can write code. Right? This is my time. And I think they're still getting value of me streaming this and talking about the product and looking into GitLens and all that stuff. I'd love it if they could see value in me trying to write code on stream. But again, I don't have any say in that, and I was specifically told that I should not prioritize writing code as part of like streaming or part of like the job. Instead, this is my time in which I just so happen to maybe be benefiting the company. Yeah, they were really explicit about like, hey, this is not a coding job. You nuked the whole thing. I get that. That makes sense. Yeah, that's fine, man. I'm the only developer advocate at GitKraken. I am their sole developer advocate. We do have other content creators and product marketing people that make content, like, and they're really good at what they do. Oh man, if you go to like the YouTube channel, you'll see all of them, right? Melise, super cool, right? And yeah, he's great. He, like, his main thing was he edited and basically was like the main person for GitCon last year or whatever. Huge, like super cool dude. Melise might be my favorite person at the company. Shh, don't tell anyone at the company about that. Jonathan, super awesome, really cool dude. Also, really involved in making workshops around GitKraken Desktop and, you know, some of those things. Right? Also a content creator. If you watch a bunch of the YouTube videos, you'll see Jonathan. But yeah, for the most part, I am the sole developer advocate, and my job is content creation. Would I give interns as assignments? I don't think we do that at this company. I don't think we do the intern thing at this company. Typically, to be legally within, like, you know, like being like legally kosher, you cannot have interns work on your product. They have to do like internal projects for various things. So technically, right, we couldn't have them work on GitKraken or GitLens or any of that stuff, but we could have them create a tool, right? And as an example of something that I want to make at the company is, what if we had a form that people at the company could submit like content requests via? And those content requests would allow you to select a priority, the thing that you're looking for, the description, the title, and that would go into like a Google sheet that would let us like prioritize things. So for the most part, and I think you were asking more in general anyway, Otacon, that is something you need to think about for interns. They need to be doing internal tools that are just proof of concept, that they can just like take an idea and run with it, and you give them feedback along the way. That is actually like the major use case for interns. They should never be touching production code. That's the whole thing, Nearland. Yes, backlog items are actually the best case for interns. Interns are not allowed legally to work on your product unless you're paying them like an employee. Typically, if you're just giving them a stipend or you're not paying them at all, they should not be working on the main thing that your business does. That's actually like counter to like the legal definition of what interns should be doing. Yeah, so Otacon, that is technically illegal depending on the state and country. I can't say if they're actually breaking the law, but they are abusing the intern program if you are working on the main product. You should not be doing that as an intern. Internal tools are a perfect use case for interns. But all right, so we got an unban request. Do we think it's sincere? I am pressing X to doubt immediately. But we'll find out. We'll go look. They sometimes are. Yeah, this one isn't. This one definitely isn't. We'll show it on stream because this person sucks. Oh, this person sucks. Ahem. So let's look at their comments. Bro, vitamin D smells nasty. Well, okay, that wasn't so bad. But here we go. Bruh, your font preference gives me a migraine. Sorry, no, but I didn't notice it before. LOL, you mad today because? And then they got banned. And then, what is their comment? Bro, you banned cause you a bish. Yeah. Obvious troll is now obvious. Fuck off, buddy. Denied. Denied. You sending messages like that because you a bish. Yeah, it's so weird that these people exist. They could just move on and just not hang out in a stream that they know they're not welcome in. But instead, they got to get like one last jab towards someone. It's the most sad thing. It's actually kind of pathetic. Yeah, you got banned because you made shit comments. Duh. Duh. You got banned because you suck. Duh. Don't they have better things to do? And the answer is no. The answer is no, they don't. They don't even have hobbies. Their life is that sad. I almost feel bad for him, but I don't. No, I don't mind poking the bear. That's fine. Oh, damn. Really, Conrad? Like, wait. You guys grill your nuggets? You're at McDonald's, right? Like, those are deep fried, aren't they? Ah, there you go. Right. So the Chicken McNugget fryer station. So wait, you guys do like a different fryer station for nuggets versus like French fries? I didn't even think about that. Huh. No, Jim Bob. Jim Bob's trying to have you burn the entire building down. Yeah, 2 stations. One is for fries, one is for nuggets, or like the other deep fried things, like the fish patty, or like you know, the chicken patties. I get that. It kind of makes sense to keep them separate too. Yeah, no, that's actually a good idea, because maybe it allows you to do them like the French fries can stay like vegetarian, as long as they're not touching the same fryer oil as, like, chicken, etc. I could see that. I can understand why that happens. Yeah, no, that makes a lot more sense. Because you want the vegetarian stuff to be fully vegetarian, because you don't want the cross-contamination of the oil either. Oh, and fish. Does fish have an entirely separate station? You had one for chicken, one for fish. Oh. And the nuggets have a special layered basket. Oh. Okay, yeah, I get that. That makes sense to me. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes so much sense. Like, cross-contamination being, like, the reason to separate those. I totally get it. What do y'all use for your oil when you deep fry? I know it used to be peanut oil, but they changed that because they wanted to make stuff like peanut allergy, like, sensitive. Which is a problem, because, like, dude, peanut oil is the best frying oil besides lard. Ooh, rapeseed or grapeseed or whatever? Okay. Huh. You want to cook some lasagna, but you don't have flour. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have a deep fryer in my kitchen that has like a basket and everything, and it's fantastic. It's super good. It's the best. All right, so let's get back to code stuff, at least a little bit. The chatting is my favorite part. Wait. Box dirty. What do you mean by that? Right? Still on the old school with a wok? Like, what are you cooking in that wok? Like, you're talking about, like, home cooking? For deep frying. Ooh, that means that you're, like, throwing away your oil after, like, single use? You should be reusing oil. Right? It gets so expensive. Oh my god, yeah, you should be reusing your oil. Now, granted, I need to, like, swap my oil more often. Oh, you cool it and then keep it in a glass bottle. Oh, alright. So then it gets, like, seasoned. I get that. No, that works. That makes sense. Ooh, so you had 2 years in a KFC and literally could not deal with any aspect of McDonald's for any longer. So wait, like, as a worker, is KFC better? I have a KFC within a block of me, and it does seem really nice. Yeah, oil is way too expensive to waste like that, especially if you're using good oil. Oh, so KFC is not better. All right, never mind, my bad. The KFC nearby seems all right. Does Chick-fil-A treat their workers well? Interesting. Same patterns at McDonald's, and then it was like, gotta get out. And then now are you a software dev? Which is awesome. I'm gonna say that's huge, man. I'm proud of you for, like, doing that, dude. Yeah, that's fucking awesome, man. I spent 10 years as a snowboard bum. Like, dude. I've been a dishwasher. I've been a janitor. I've done so many roles at, like, a ski resort that suck. To where I now have perspective. And as a software dev, like, dude. Make me write tests. I don't care. That's fine. I can be a code janitor. I'm okay with it. I don't mind being a code janitor, because it pays way better than being a regular janitor. Ooh, Box Dirty. That was one of my favorite jokes from the movie yesterday that we watched. We watched Black Adam, which is passable at best. It's not a great movie, but it's got some really funny moments. But there's a part where they tell someone, like, oh, you die from electricity, so just, like, yeah, just don't deal with electricity and you're good. And they're like, wait, I'm an electrician. That was my favorite joke in the entire film. Wait, I'm an electrician, man. Like, dude, I can't avoid electricity. Are you kidding me? That part was actually, like, really well done. There's so many good jokes in the movie Black Adam that I was not expecting it to actually be funny. I really was not expecting Black Adam to be, like, funny. I was expecting just a shit Marvel film, you know? Or not even Marvel, like a shit knockoff Marvel film. Yeah, Sab, you were right. Yeah, really funny, but also kind of like dog water. Yeah, it's not going to win any awards, and obviously, The Rock doesn't lose a fight because he has it in his contract. Again, he's human tapioca. Seems interesting at first and then is really bland. The Rock is human tapioca. You can totally retweet that. You can tweet it yourself. Treat it like you came up with the idea. Go for it. But The Rock is human tapioca. It seems really interesting till you realize how bland it is. I am human quinoa. Exactly. Something that your parents tell you is probably really good, but you don't realize how good for you it is. How long did it take for me to make the switch? So what do you mean by that, Omnisec? You mean what, like when I was a snowboard bum and then like how long it took me to do the switch to software dev? I was a snowboard bum for like 10 years because I wanted to shred. While I'm giving this spiel, I realize that I'm still showing the screen here. So hold on, my bad. Let me at least show you my snowboard video while I do this spiel. Damn it. All right, so we don't have that autocomplete going still. So Mathemagic's snowboarding, I think. How long have I been showing that I forgot I was doing? Let's do videos. Nope, none of that is me. Damn it. Really? Come on, YouTube. I need to like bookmark this clip so I can find it again. So hold on. Mathematics and some. There it is. Right, we get it immediately. Bookmarked. Done. This is my sponsor me video from 2006. I spent 10 years out of high school as a snowboard bum. I got free gear starting basically this year. Right? Pretty good. Let me go pour some more water real quick so I can pour more whiskey. Yeah. You'll enjoy it. It's fine. BRB. Alright, and I'm back. So yeah, this was me 10 years ago. During this time, I was a snowboard bum. I did janitor stuff. I did terrain park stuff. I did ski rental stuff. Like, I worked so many of, like, the worst jobs at ski resorts. It was the blast. Like, it was the best time of my life. Oh, take it easy. Come on. Just chill. Take it easy. Here's one more clip. This is me and my friends in, like, my friend's, like, yard. He let us set up this box in his actual yard. I mean, it's a little over the line. Like, just chill. Right? This isn't Tinder. No, I get you, and I appreciate that. It's fine. I appreciate the compliment, but, like, you know, this is not Tinder. I really do appreciate the compliment, but, again, you gotta draw the line somewhere. Oh, no, you'll recognize me in this video because of the hipster sweater. I'm the one filming this. I filmed this entire thing. I filmed this entire thing. There's times where you see me, I set things up on a tripod. Hipster sweater. Yeah, that's me. There it is. There's hipster sweater. Here it is, hipster sweater. Yeah, no worries there, Seb. Yeah, it's like a little bit like, hey, come on now. This ain't Tinder. Yeah, no, I get it. No worries, Seb. This is, ooh, yeah. That fall, I actually had borderline compartment syndrome on my thigh from that fall. The edge of that box, I actually have a scar in my thigh from that fall. If you don't know what compartment syndrome is, it's where you bleed so much within like muscle tissue that it starts cutting off circulation. And compartment syndrome can actually cause you to like lose a limb type shit. I ended up having borderline compartment syndrome to the effect where like my thigh didn't have feeling, right? I couldn't feel the top of my thigh for like a year. It was gnarly. And I still have like an indentation in my thigh, right? Scar tissue from that fall. Because I hit that corner, middle of the thigh, and it fucking went like up the entire thigh. It was so gnarly. It was really bad. Yeah, exactly. Yep. MMA fighters getting kicked in the legs are actually like really, really close to like compartment syndrome. And if they don't deal with it and ice it in the right way, they could actually lose their leg. Yeah, compartment syndrome is incredibly gnarly. And it's basically about like you bleed so much within like a muscle compartment that it starts like pushing on everything else. And it's so gnarly. Yeah, it's like super gnarly. I remember just lying in my bed for like 3 days because I could barely move because that shit hurt so much. And I had the same problem on my left leg from a totally different fall. Yeah, dude, I'm lucky to be walking these days. Like, from, like, my snowboard career. I'm not even kidding. I'm lucky to be walking. I know other people that have actually lost their legs because of that stuff. Like, it's actually super scary. I know like, one person I can think of that lost their leg due to compartment syndrome from snowboarding. Right? I believe it was from like just above the knee and down. They lost their leg due to compartment syndrome. So yeah, like, dude, It's no joke. If you start losing feeling from like swelling in your limb, that's a fucking problem, and you should probably go to the hospital. I didn't, because I didn't have insurance at the time. I mean, if you get good at your habits, you can throw your arms up and protect your neck. But yeah, again, like snowboarding is super like gnarly. Like, yeah, there's all sorts of ways it can go wrong. Anyway, let's play some more music. I wouldn't trade any of my time snowboarding for anything in the world. That entire portion of my life made me who I am today. I have washed dishes, I have cleaned out toilets, I have scrubbed the fucking floors of the entire ski lodge. I've lived in my van. All of these things made me who I am, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. That song, Quinoa Man, is really good. Thank you, Sam. Like, that one's just solid. Gonna go make some dinner? Yeah, no worries, Ethan. Yeah, I'll probably just eat some chili tonight, but tomorrow, I want to cook something. Something good. Yeah, tomorrow, I'm either gonna grab some onions and do, like, the... yeah, street-style chicken taco thing. Or maybe a steak. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. I can save the steak for later in the week. Yeah, hat night. No, I totally had to do that. And yes, I had to clean out the bins. You know what I'm talking about, right? I had to clean out those bins. Yeah, for sure. Yep. For everyone unaware, yes, women's problems. There is typically, in women's restrooms, a bin in which they can dump women's things, in which blood might be involved. As a janitor, you gotta do that shit. Sanitary products. That's the best way to phrase that. Yes. I've had to clean those out. For sure. It was my job. Had to do it. I put on the rubber glove. I did what I needed to do. Put it in a bin, like in the trash. And then, luckily, cleaning those restrooms, there was like the drain on the bottom, and we had to like, you know, we just pressure wash the entire room, basically. So yeah, there's like a pressure washer. You basically just spray all over the entire toilet after you've cleaned out that bin. And then you put in the fresh like bag in that bin. And then you're good to go. Human beings are gross. Duh. Have you not seen other human beings? Yeah, human beings are gross. Sure, I get it. All right, so let's continue what we're doing. Where do we have an error here in this file? We see API key. And yeah, string undefined is not acceptable in this method. So let's go look at this fetch method. We see it right there. In custom provider, we can say it's okay there, and then that solves the problem above, right? Wink. Yeah, totally. All right, so headers are then equal to that. Nope. Hold on. I'm messing that up. No. Undefined is not what we're trying to do. Here we do maybe need to define this as record string. If I could type. No. I just meant string. All right, there we go. And voila. Unknown is what you do if you want people to type it for you later. String or undefined is something you do if you are accepting either a string or undefined, right? So they are fundamentally like separate things. You do unknown if you want the user to have to type it themselves later, which is very useful in some specific cases, but that's not what we're trying to do right here. But yeah, what up, Badman and Harvenius, Mr. Sir. Have a good night. I'll see you again soon. Technically, we could do something like this, where we do a question mark, and that would imply undefined as well. But then they would yell that required params cannot follow optional params. So instead, nah, we have to just undo all that. An undefined value here is totally fine. Oh, my Mac Mini is already starting to sweat. I want to say null is also acceptable, just in case. But maybe it's not even a thing and it would never be a thing, but I would rather allow a null explicitly rather than wait for it to be an error. All right, so we have this method. Unknown is simply you kicking the can down the road. I don't know what someone wants it to be, and it is unknown, and if you want to type it later, that's up to you to cast it and do your thing. I think that is actually incredibly valid and useful for APIs and third-party libraries. So, yeah, I don't think it's that crazy. Personally, I really see no problem here. Oh, damn, some neighbor is smoking cigarettes right now, and it fucking reeks. Is it this upstairs neighbor that is so fucking loud all the time? Probably. Dude, I have the worst upstairs neighbor, man. They fucking suck. I'm not gonna call into the office about them smoking cigarettes. Or smoking weed when they obviously do too, because they do. Weed smell is fully okay. Weed smell will have me go, smells good. Cigarette smell is the fucking worst. It's so bad, dude. But technically, we live in a no-smoking community. None of it is okay. If they want to smoke weed on their balcony, they can go for it. And I don't care. Smoking cigarettes? Like, fuck off, man. Come on. Move to a different place where you can smoke cigs then. Instead, I will be moving somewhere else when this lease is up next year. Because this is the worst fucking upstairs neighbor ever. I've had to report them for them playing the worst fucking music ever. So fucking loud at 3 a.m. That's not okay, dude. No, I'm not gonna report the cigarette. I don't give a shit. They can smoke the cigs. I will accept how awful it smells. I'm fine with that. But playing the worst fucking music ever so fucking loud at 3 a.m., I will report that every time. Yeah, I had to extend my lease here because I didn't plan on moving. And again, like, where I'm trying to move would like an employment history that didn't have me getting laid off in November. Either I apply to live somewhere that doesn't give a shit about employment history, as long as I can pay my rent and give them the deposit they need, right? So that means basically like Leavenworth, Washington. But here, like where I live, like Redmond, etc., they care about your employment history. So yeah. Assuming GitKraken wants to keep me around next year when the time comes for me to renew my shit here, I will happily move anywhere else. But I didn't have that like leeway this year. Which bums me out, man, because I fucking hate my upstairs neighbor. They're the fucking worst. I've had to complain about the noise they make at 3 a.m. multiple times. And it's not just like, oh, hey, they're walking around. Like, yeah, I don't care how much they want to stomp around. No, they're playing the worst fucking music I've ever heard at 3 a.m. Like, dude, I'm gonna report that shit. I don't even know what music it is, but it's like boom, 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 like it doesn't even have like a discernible beat.
Superhero with the ability to communicate and command canines worldwide. With acute senses matching those of a dog superhearing, an incredible sense of smell and night vision, they patrol the streets. Their origin story began when they were caught in a bizarre biochemical accident while volunteering at a shelter, granting them these powers. Cloaked in a costume with a motif that mirrors a noble hound, they work with their loyal pack of dogs to thwart crime and bring comfort to those in need, embodying the loyalty and bravery of humanity's best friend.
Praise Gaben, like, yeah, why yes, I am a dog. Nailed it. That was good, man. That was super good. If you want that audio clip sent to you, just send me a message on Discord, PM me on Discord, and I will send you that audio clip because that's the easiest way for me to send that stuff. Up to you if you want it. Totally fine if you don't. No big deal. But that was awesome, man. Thank you for the bits. That was cool. I like that. So yeah, if you want that audio, I can send it. No worries. Let's continue doing the thing that we're kind of barely almost doing, which is working on this code. We have established a provider for it. I mean, strong-arming the dev team sounds like a terrible way of framing, like, hey, you need to get human beings to do something. The audio was what the bot just said, like, audio-wise. I don't know. Are you trolling at this point? I have no idea. But I'll accept the bits. Thank you. What up, Koala? How you doing? Mr. Sir. I am a dog. Your dev team is not a bunch of robots that just produce code based upon the input you give them. It seems like you're trying to treat them that way, and yeah, you're gonna fuck up immensely by thinking that is the case. You are dealing with human beings, not robots that turn caffeine into code. The quicker you understand that, the better off you'll be. I am sipping on the whiskey. Obviously. Duh. Comrade, no, I think that's incorrect. They understand, but they're not fucking machines. I think why yes, I am a dog. You're either trolling or you misunderstand. Yeah, you definitely needed a /s, comrade. Like, for sure. Without a /s, like, sarcasm is undiscernible. Yeah, you need the /s or a kappa or a winking smiley face or something, right? Why, yes, I am a dog. It's never that simple. I'm gonna push back and think that you're just trolling us at this point. If it's simple, do it yourself, man. Yeah, I'm about to, like, time you out, possibly ban you, because it's not simple. Yeah, I think you're just trolling us. How old is your account? March 27th, 2024. So your account's less, like 1 day more than a week old? Dude, you're fucking trolling for sure. Yeah, so, goodbye. Fuck off. Get out of here, man. Yeah, they're obviously just trolling. They got the engagement they needed to satisfy their very minimal, like, social buffer, to make them feel like they're interacting with human beings. And then they can retreat back into their basement and do whatever they want. Yeah, we just entertained a troll more than we expected because they paid us $1 to do so. You don't have to touch grass to be a human being. And I would question their actual human beingness at this point. They're a human not being. Right? For sure. 1000%. I can burp with the best of them. Alright, so yeah, we're chilling, we're hanging out. I don't know how we end up seeing some of these things. To the API. I think we might have enough to try and initiate what we're talking about here. But yeah, what up, Robotic Head, Mr. Sir? You trying to play some more Helldivers tonight? I believe Acorn is gonna try and use, like, the audience that she has as long as she has it. Right? Because she got the Alt F4 raid earlier, right? Yeah, Robotic Head wants to spread some democracy, for sure. Right? Me, you, and Algo Bro, and then Acorn when she wants to join. We're good to go. That'd be fun. I can see Acorn wanting to, like, utilize the raid she just got as long as she can. So I get that one. That one makes sense to me. If I had gotten the same raid, I'd be waiting till the numbers died down as well. But we haven't seen that raid in easily, like, 3, maybe 4 weeks. Which seems intentional at this point. Anyway. What up, Aisha? There we go. Nailed it. What is that emote, though? That's like a Veronica something, but it seems very like, Brazilian? Wait, how many is a Brazilian? Yeah, I know it's a butt. I get that part. I can see that part. But how many is a Brazilian? All right, so hold on. All right. This is a fun, like, Bush joke. Donald Rumsfeld is giving the president his daily briefing. He concludes by saying, yesterday, 3 Brazilian soldiers were killed. Oh no! The president exclaims. That's terrible. His staff sits stunned at the display of emotion, nervously watching as the president sits, head in hands. Finally, the president looks up and says, how many is a Brazilian? Right? That's a good 20-year-old joke that I still think works. How many is a Brazilian? More or less than 1 billion? I don't know. All right, the bro version of a zillion. How many is a zillion? I don't even know, man. I think technically there's a League of Legends joke in there at this point. A zillion is technically 2 because of his ult. But it... Bruh is undefined. Touche. That's like snowboarder terms. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Nope. Someone's name would have to have zillion in their name. And then they'd have to sub. Wink. Yeah. Come on, someone pay the sub cost with zillion in your name, and then we're good. Wink. Bruh! Index out of bounds. Okay, yeah, I get that. That works. But okay, we've done some work on our stream stuff. I don't think we actually tried to hit up the AI. And we should try. We should at least try and like click the button and see what happens, right? But we are at the point where we should try and do that and see what happens, then like move on a bit. So yeah, if we look at GitLens, and yeah, hold on, let me drag this over so y'all can see it. If we look at GitLens and look at the commit graph, and then try and have it explain a commit, and my poor Mac Mini is sweating, obviously. We click a commit. Inspect. Ooh, the file we're looking at, we see the entire visual commit history of it. And wow, that's like beautiful. Do y'all see that? That's like, that's art. That's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. Yeah, pretty circles, man. How do we get AI to explain what happened in a commit, man? Explain AI. Here we go. Explain changes. Oh, shit. So here's the biggest part. We have modified things in a way that I expect to see some kind of result. Otacon, that's what we're talking about, and that's why we're trying to make a custom LLM, right? That's why OpenAI or Anthropic are not to be trusted, because you want to send this data to something that you control, and that's the entire thing that we're trying to make right now. To make a local LLM that processes these things. Or a organization local, right? Internal VPS or VPC URL that you hit that can't be accessed from elsewhere. The goal, 100%, is to make something that doesn't exfiltrate any information to any third party. How do we do that? And that's the entire thing we are working on. How was that not obvious from our title and other things? So yeah, Otacon, you missed the entire premise of what we're trying to do and why we're doing it. We're literally trying to solve the problem that you're trying to be up in arms about. I mean, our title should have solved that. I guess the title doesn't. But you didn't even try the commands that we have associated. You didn't even ask us, right? You just wanted to be indignant for no reason. Like, come on. You wanted to be offended before you even asked us what was going on. You're betraying your actual intentions. You could have been cool, but instead you wanted to be offended before you even tried. You could have been cool. You could have just asked. But instead, you wanted to be indignant before even understanding what we were trying to do. That's on you, man. You reached for being offended before you actually understood what we were doing. I would really, really adjust your expectations. We're actually trying to solve the exact problem you're trying to, like, be concerned about. But you decided to be offended first. Anyway, let's go raid someone because I want to eat some food. Dealing with falsely indignant people is something I am less prepared for. So let's go raid someone. And that person is Shy Ryan. Let's go do that. No, Sab, I know you're a fan. I know Four Wheel's a fan. I know a bunch of people are fans. But Otacon was trying to not be a fan because they're looking for conflict rather than they're looking for content. So Otacon, I would really, really consider, how do you approach streams in general? Are you trying to be offended first before you understand what they're even trying to do? That's a problem on your end. You were looking to be offended. Right? Your goal in life is questionable. Yeah. No, I appreciate all the love. Again, like, my fans, like, all y'all here, you're great. Someone like Otacon, who's here from the start, fresh today, they're looking to be offended. And that betrays what they're actually, like, looking to do on stream. That's a problem, man. But anyway, I'll see y'all over on gaming. We're going to play some Helldivers, I think. See you over there? Yeah, totally.